So I hit a flush on the turn, and a lot of people might end up checking this down, but oh shit, I misclicked. I really did want to bet that turn. I'm gonna be raising the 10-10 deuce deuce on the range. Um, so now I'm definitely gonna be betting, and a little bit on the smaller side, just hoping to get called by a queen sometimes, or maybe even no. I don't think I'll get called by queen. So actually, I'm gonna bet on the larger side and just hope that he has a worse flush and kind of forced to call. I don't ever see him raising. I'm definitely not folding 10-10 deuce deuce on the right. This is a check call spot. By check calling, I'm definitely saying that I have something. However, I don't think check raising has a lot of value. I still think check calling on the right is the best play. He can now bet straights, but I don't think he has straights too often. He checked back the flop, and I think if he had the king high or ace high flush, he probably would have tried to go for three streets of value. He checks again. How often do I think I get called by aces or kings or queens or jacks in this spot? Probably not very often. I'm just gonna check and give him one more chance to bluff, I guess. Yeah, I don't think he's going to if he does have a big pair. And unfortunately, I probably didn't play this the best way I possibly could. I'm gonna win, but looking at it, I don't know how many hands he can really call with that is worse than a set there, unless he, got really stubborn with aces. But on a board like that, it would just be pretty awful call. Queen Queen 8-4. I think perfectly fine to limp here, having position. Anytime I hit a set is probably going to be the best of sets. Queen eye flush draw is not great, but even just having position gives me a large advantage, and I don't have to play queens exactly for what they are. I'm going to be folding the queen queen knight 3 on the left. So it's talking about the hand before on the board where it was a three-way pot. The reason I bet bigger on the river and actually wanted to bet the turn too, the reason for that was I couldn't figure out any hand that could call my bet on the river regardless unless it was a flush. And a lot of people are willing to check call flushes. So I bet bigger because he almost never has a nut flush the way the hand played. So queen eye flush should be the best hand the vast majority of the time. So the reason I call twice here is because it is a shutdown board. And Powerhouse might be taking advantage of that. But for three barrels here, I'm just gonna end up folding. I really don't think I can have the best hand here very often anymore. By me calling the flop, I'm saying I have something. By me calling the turn, I'm definitely saying I have something. And he even continues to bet the river again. So out of position, I'm just going to give him credit for having at least a king, if not a boat. Um, I could raise, I could fold. I think limping's pretty bad. I am going to raise. Isolate 187 river. He's been playing really bad. Hopefully Duke to house doesn't call. I don't want to play a hand this bad out of position. Um, Definitely not saying that raising this hand is good, but being in position, raising the hand is definitely fine and good. If you expect to get a couple callers though, not very good. And instead I just pick up the pot, which is definitely okay. Folding the queen deuce 4-5. And I will check the left. I think that check raising or check folding is probably the only play I have here. He checks back. I guess I'm gonna try and get to showdown. I don't like it. Okay, and he bets min. I'm just gonna end up folding eights in this spot too. I think if he had complete air on the flop, like let's say ace 10 4 5, or something just strange. I'm just throwing something out there that gives him complete air. I think he would have just bet it, especially on a dry queen 6-6 flop. Kind of have to. Uh, King Queen 4-10 double suited. Gonna be raising into the Guru. I get 3 bet. I don't think getting it in is a good idea right now. I think that calling and flopping pairs or draws is the best of plays. So obviously I'm going to be check shoving, depending on his bet size. So yeah, he pots it. Super easy to get it in the spot and going to be a favorite like 100% of the time. I don't ever think he has kings in the spot. Oh, and he folds. That is really strange. Um, um, anytime. So he potted over half his stack, so I definitely thought he was never gonna fold, but he did. That's pretty awful on his part, considering he could have c bet for half size pot and would have had the same result from me, depending on what I had, because I'm not gonna stick it in against a shorter stack unless I actually have something with equity. A6 4 5. I'm gonna be folding, thinking that Guru is getting it in. With just about anything at this point. Ace Ace King Queen. This is a really good spot because Guru is going to be raising. Hopefully there's a couple calls and I can 3 bet large enough. Okay, so we're going to be getting this one in, obviously, and I'm a favorite every time. Ah, and he has a really good hand to snap it. And he does snap it. So I was definitely not even that large of a favorite against that hand, but still have to get that in against someone who's tilting. Obviously, get it in against anybody pre if you can. Aces becomes really hard to play out of position, especially when you get deeper. So I don't like 3 betting it very often out of position unless the stack sizes are a bit shorter or unless there's a lot of dead money already in there and I think I can get some people to fold. Kings on the right, one of them suited, pretty good hand. Not going to be 3 betting out of position. I think too many people do it and put themselves in horrible spots, but I am definitely willing to call. Um, 3 betting, I'm just kind of giving away my hand strength a little too much. And kings with one suit isn't even really that strong. I think check calling here is the best play. Check raising, I just represent a 7, and check calling is actually really strong in this spot. It's saying I have quite a bit. Um, he snap checks back, so I don't think he ever has a 10. It's possible he had a 7 on the flop, um, but I don't think he's going to be betting this river very often on bluffs, the way that the hand played, because I could just have a 7 too often, and I'll just show kings and win. He all in 3 bets me. We're super deep, so I'm going to be calling. If he bets into me, you could make an argument for raising. I'm probably not going to. So he checks. Majority of the time, if someone 3 bets, uh, their range would be all over this flop. And I feel like he's the kind of player who could definitely be willing to check call there or trap me. Um, so I decided to check back. He could have flopped a set of kings, could have flopped a set of jacks, could have aces, he could have ace queen. And now he decides to pot. So the reasons for him potting here would be there isn't a whole lot of reasons for him potting here, to be honest. Unless he did have ace queen, was planning to check raise the flop, and now he's just trying to get as much value for it as possible. I think I have a good enough hand where I have to call. And with me calling in this spot, I'm saying that I have a really strong hand on the board pair. So if he bets again, I will end up folding. I'm not going to be crazy happy about it. Um, he checks, and I'm just going to have to check back. So his hand range, I think, is pretty much ace queen or air at this point. He could have played aces, really strange, but yeah, I honestly think he either has ace queen or air, and or maybe even queen nine. And I'm just gonna hope to win with 3 tens. Okay, so he did have air. He was giving me an opportunity, I guess, to bet the flop and take it down, but maybe he was going to check raise regardless, because he